another one where they tried to hedge. Another one. They tried to hedge and kind of corporate media this and soften the blow on how monstrous and pathetic and awful this merger might be. But Kroger and Albertsons.
How about you?
Right. The grocery industry is no stranger to mergers and acquisitions, but the potential merger between two major supermarket chains has raised concerns among consumers and advocates alike.
What is that merger from? Is that from the, that's where he's with the Japanese business guy, isn't he? Merger.
No, I think that's actually from the Will Ferrell movie where they do the merger with the ABA. The merger. That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah, that's it.
Albertsons is one of the largest grocery chains in the U.S. with over 2,200 stores across 33 states. That's kind of powerful. The company operates under several banners, including Safeway, Vons, and Jewel Osco. Sprouts Farmers Market, on the other hand, is a smaller chain with around 360 stores in 23 states. Company focuses on natural and organic products. And it's been growing rapidly in recent years. What a surprise. Yay, more corporate consolidation. Yeah, that's right. So if the merger were to go through, it would create a grocery giant with over 2,500 stores and over $60 billion in annual revenue. They also acquired Safeway and they merged with Kroger, and this is just another one. So another one. And yeah, that's actually interesting because this is not Sprouts. They're talking about Kroger merging. So this thing, again, got it wrong.
Got it wrong, dude. It's so bad.
It's terrible.
It's real bad.
Right? This would give them significant bargaining power with suppliers and potentially allow them to lower prices for consumers. No, they're not. However, critics argue that the merger could also lead to reduced competition and fewer choices for consumers, particularly in areas where Albertsons and Sprouts have a strong presence. Again, Sprouts. I don't know who Sprouts is.
Sprouts.
Right?
Bean Sprouts.
Another concern is the impact the merger could have on workers. The two companies have different labor practices, with Albertsons being unionized and Sprouts being non-union. If the two companies were merged, it could lead to job losses.
Seems like a thing you get your kids into when you want them to be vegan. You put them in Sprouts. They get little vegan patches.
Eat your Brussels sprouts and your bean sprouts.
Right.
The proposed merger could also have an impact on the communities where Albertsons and Sprouts operate. Both companies have a strong presence in certain regions, and the loss of competition could result in higher prices for consumers. That's what it says. Before it said reduced prices. There it says higher prices, and that's what they're going to go for because monopoly doesn't result in lower prices. I'm all hopped up on Mountain Dew, right? Advocates are also concerned about the impact of smaller independent grocery stores that may struggle to compete with a larger, more powerful chain. Hello, Walmart. There's your artwork. Merger. The merger. Merger. And there's some great artwork. I'll bring it up. The proposed merger between Albertsons and Sprouts, like you said, has raised a number of concerns. This is very corporate-y, Hey, and how about that? We actually have merch. So I just want you to know we have merch. We haven't shown any of the merch slides tonight, so we still have merch. independentleft.shop, or you can go to INN merch.
Take my money.
INNmerch.com also works that way. So now that we've gone through the summary, I'm going to show you that it's a Bean Boy article. Slideshow off. Thank you. And now we're going to go back to our article here. All right. So, hey now. You're an all-star. Slideshow on. Now we're cooking. Go play. All right. So our friends over at Popular Information, how a grocery store mega merger could cost workers millions. Come on. Thank you. This was our friends over at Popular Information, popular.info. Give them a sub, give them a follow. Look them up. On Twitter, it's actually at Judd Legum. It's his full name.
Kroger. Bean Boy.
So I figured out what the purple check is, and it's tens of
does he have one of these?
Of paid subs. And no, he does not.
Does he have one of those?
He does not.
Okay.
I love him, but he does not, because I think he got COVID a little.
Oh yeah, I remember.
And he definitely got J6. Little.
Oh yeah, I remember.
And he's focused. And look, I don't. I really agree with his watchdog, and he goes after the money, but he's certainly one-sided. I don't ever see him really mention a Democrat that does anything wrong, unless they're really, really corporate. Yeah, well, I'm just calling it like I see it.
I calls it like I sees it.
He's also an original Substacker, and I give him a lot of credit, and I love him for that, and appreciate all that he's put in to making Substack the platform that it is today, because I think that he was one of the innovators and pioneers that they were listening to, because he had rapid growth. Again, tens of thousands of paid subscribers, which means that he's making somewhere between $50,000 and $100,000 a month minimum just on Substack. And that's really his primary source of income. He's hired two people, though.
Mimimu?
Yeah, Mimimu. So, pretty impressive. But, okay, so this is our not friend.
Only me and you are going to know that, because you never showed Mimimu.
Now you're going to make me show Mimimu?
No, it's okay.
I'm going to put it over your face,
okay.
Mimimu.
Can I scroll through the article and read? October 2022, Kroger, the nation's largest supermarket chain, reached an agreement to purchase Albertsons, the nation's second largest supermarket chain, in a deal valued at $25 billion. Albertsons itself acquired another major competitor, Safeway, in 2015 for $9.2 billion. The deal, which is subject to review by the Federal Trade Commission, FTC, would create a grocery behemoth that would operate 5,000 stores in 48 states. Kroger is seeking to close the transaction in 2024.
Now, tell me where slideshow... Wait, stop. Tell me where that slideshow actually said anything about Safeway, 5,000 stores,
it didn't.
48 states.
It picked words, dude, and put it together. That's why I was like, are you sure you want to... Like, we're dumb. We're not going to know where it's wrong. Like...
What the hell
Thus far, most of the regulatory scrutiny is focused on the possibility that reduced competition would mean higher grocery prices for shoppers, but a report released this month by the Economic Policy Institute, or the EPI, reveals that the deal could have a major impact on the wages of grocery store workers. According to the EPI report, the proposed merger would reduce the number of outside employment options available to workers, lowering grocery store workers' annual wages by a total of $334 million. Okay, so that works out to about $450 less annually per worker, which is a significant reduction for a workforce already hovering at or below the poverty line. So yeah, they're just giving them less money. Hey, look, it's Sprouts.
That's our Sprouts.
It's Sprouts. You got Mimimu?
I'm looking for Mimimu.
Okay.
I think I might have to go to the website to get to the Mimimu.
Okay, close Sprouts.
Oh, you need to read, right?
Yeah, and then scroll.
Yeah. Poverty line.
More. Yep. EPI report is based on a recent wave of economic research that has called attention to potential damages to workers' bargaining power over wages stemming from concentration in labor markets. Fundamentally, workers, why do they bracket that? Ability to negotiate better pay and working conditions rest on their capability, their capacity. Orkers. No, that's what we're playing World of Warcraft, bro. My Orker character has got a capacity to switch jobs. When you reduce the number of employers offering similar jobs, grocery store workers' earnings will fall as a result. Can someone please make me like an orc union?
Orkers.
Like, can that be a thing? Like in Lord of the Rings? Meat's like back on the menu, but I gotta have better wages. Yeah, Orkers. Collectively, Kroger and Albertsons employ 1/4 of all grocery workers nationwide. The EPI report looks specifically at the impact of this reduced bargaining power. Workers could also suffer from job cuts or store closures. Okay. According to the report, the merger would lower wages for 746,000 grocery store
That's not
workers.
so
This
much.
impact would be, yeah, that's just almost a half a mil or more, three quarters.
Yeah.
Three-quarters of a mil. This impact would be felt in 55 metropolitan areas where both Kroger and Albertsons currently operate stores. Notably, it would not just be Kroger workers that are impacted since the merger reduces competition across the industry. It would lower wages for all grocery workers in affected areas. Yeah, so this is straight up monopoly shit. It's like terrible. EPI's analysis finds that if the merger is approved, workers from coast to coast will lose millions in annual earnings. Yeah. Where do you think that money's going to be going? EPI? Where do you think? Ugh. Scroll.
Oh. Yeah, here's where it's going to go.
Look at this graph.
Look at this graph.
It's not a graph. It's just lots of numbers. Kroger and Albertsons facing increasing concerns about reduced wages and other concerns have launched a campaign to highlight the benefits of the merger to the public. If the FTC moves to block the merger, Kroger and Albertsons have pledged to fight for the merger in court. Of course, they're like, we're going to do what we want. We don't care.
Yeah.
They got enough money to pay for lawyers.
Whatever.
Earlier this month, the biggest union of grocery store workers announced its opposition to the Kroger and Albertsons merger. Delegates representing the United Food and Commercial Workers International Union unanimously voted to oppose the merger and other mergers that pose a threat to essential workers, their families, and their communities they serve. UFCW International Workers, which represents 1.3 million members overall, represents around 350,000 Kroger and Albertsons employees already, nearly half the workers that would be employed under the merger. In a statement, the UFCW president, Mark Perrone, said for months the UFCW has called for transparency, engage independent experts, and assess the publicly available information on this proposed merger to determine the widespread impact it will have on our members and the communities they serve. Given the lack of transparency and the impact a merger between two of the largest supermarket companies could have on essential workers and the communities and customers they serve, the UFCW stands united in its opposition to the proposed Kroger and Albertsons merger, Perrone said, stating that mergers pose a serious threat to the livelihoods of our members and we must act to confront them. According to the Wall Street Journal, Kroger said it would continue discussions with the UFCW about the merger's benefits and the divestiture plan.
Yeah. That's where they have to get rid of stores. Way worse. They have to get rid of stores because there's a monopoly in a certain area.
Just because.
Or just because.
Meanwhile, the UFCW plans to discuss its concerns with legislators and the Federal Trade Commission.
All right.
This is essentially
here's
Mimamoo.
Which we're going to get to later, but that's the raise the Mimamoo wage.
Mimamoo.
Bye.
Yeah, this is essentially, we've been covering this for a minute and we've known this is going to be a thing.
Right.
So for the union to just be like, well, we got to do something. Right. Bro, you've been having to do something.
So about 2 weeks ago, Kroger CEO, Rodney Dangerfield McMullen, okay, McMuffin, Egg McMuffin, and Albertson CEO, Vivek Sankaran, and a joint op-ed in the Cincinnati Enquirer that purported to dispel several myths about the merger, right? So first, the CEOs claimed that Kroger committed to zero store closures as a result of the merger. Hi, Jesse. And the company will invest in stores post-merger. Sure they will. And of course they will. This is a promise made in an op-ed and is not legally binding. Yep, of course. Statement allows Kroger to complete the merger, wait a few weeks or months, then close any number of stores for any reason. CEOs note that we anticipate divesting or selling some stores to satisfy regulatory concerns about competition. Section 7 of the Clayton Antitrust Act, which is enforced by the FTC, prohibits acquisitions that substantially lessen competition in any line of commerce. Right, so this approach has backfired in the past. So in order to secure approval, its acquisition of Safeway, listen to this story. Albertsons agreed to divest 168 stores They were purchased by Hagen, which is a much smaller competitor, for $1.4 billion. Much smaller. They can afford $1 billion. But the stores that are divested are seldom top performers, of course, so Hagen was unable to successfully operate locations, and after a few months after acquiring all those stores, declared bankruptcy. Thanks. Ultimately, it sold 29 of those stores right back to Albertsons, and others were closed entirely. So, yeah, thanks. They just got it off their books, they got it off their hands, and then bought it back on the cheap. Second, the CEOs claim that no frontline workers will be laid off as a result of the merger. That's not true. Nothing about this pledge is enforceable. It notably allows for layoffs of workers that are not considered frontline, a term that is undefined. The vagueness and the sliminess of all of this. The CEOs also say they're committed to protecting and expanding opportunities for union jobs, but no guarantee that it won't sell unionized stores to anti-union companies as part of the planned divestment. Amazon, which is one of the few companies in the industries with the resources to buy hundreds of large grocery stores, is notoriously hostile to unions, and I think we've covered that pretty extensively. The way Amazon has tried to treat worker unions, both at its warehouses and as well as at Whole Foods and at all of the restaurants and everywhere else that it owns and controls that have tried to organize. The airline pilots, for example, I mean, the airline workers, I know were just recently doing something. But finally, the CEO say the merger will result in lower prices because lowering prices is part of Kroger's business strategy. I can't even get through that
Mastermind
sentence.
Hour in the chat. Rodney canned me after he closed one of our stores.
Yep. Well, that's the other thing, is that's nothing is stopping them from actually just shuttering any store that they know is going to be
Any store they want,
including all the union ones. But there's no real explanation for why it would lower prices in a less competitive environment. In June 2021, McMullen talked about his plan to exploit inflation to raise prices and increase profits. This one. Here's like literally Dr. Evil shit. A little bit of inflation is always good in our business.
A little bit.
Historically, grocery store mergers have resulted in higher prices. An influential 2008 study found that in 4 of 5 mergers they evaluated, grocery prices appear to have increased between 3 and 7%. Just look at the numbers.
Already,
consolidation.
Already at an all-time high.
Yeah. I mean, I mean, and it's got 68 comments, 69, dude. 339 likes, 25 restacks. Restack is, by the way, over on Substack Notes. Check out Substack Notes. Big fan.
It's very nice.
It is a very nice. And you can see a news feed of everyone that's out there. You can, just the people that you're subscribed to. I can see all of the people that are subscribed to my newsletter, and that is its own feed. And then because I am a premium subscriber to Popular Info, I can see all the people who subscribe to Popular Info. Oh yeah. For $50 a year, I absolutely support what Judd is doing and have for a long time.
Shut up and take my money.
Well, $50 a year is not that much, and yeah,